Hello everybody, it's Rebecca here at Y Mermaids, and welcome to the Best Picture Tag 2018. For those of you who don't know or are just joining me for the first time, this is the 4th year in a row that Caitlin over at Book Chats and I have done this tag. We are big movie people, and every year we make it a goal to watch as many of the Best Picture nominees as we can, and so then we make a tag using each of those Best Picture nominees to create a question, and then we just talk about a book that goes along with it. So again, this is the 4th time. It's my favorite video that I do all year long, mostly just because I love the chatting and the collaboration with Caitlin, so it's kind of a collab slash tag video, but I do encourage all of you to do it as well, and if you do, please link it to me in the comments below. But without further ado, let's get into the tag 2018 edition. We do this in an alphabetical order to just keep it nice and clean, and so the first movie that we're talking about is Call Me By Your Name.
Nature has cunning ways of finding our weakest spot.
Call me by your name and I'll call you by mine.
So the question is an LGBTQ love story. I decided to go with Everything Leads to You by Nina LaCour, which is a YA slash new adult love story about a girl who is in LA and she wants to be a set designer, and she falls in love with this other girl, and it's basically just this love story between the two of them with some twists and stuff thrown in there. But I read this one, I used to live in LA, and I just really enjoyed it. The obvious answer for this would have been Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda, but I wanted to throw another book in there for those of you who've already read that and maybe you're looking for a female-female love story rather than a male-male love story. Next up is Darkest Hour.
We are looking at the collapse of Western Europe in the next few days.
You ask what is our aim? Victory at all costs.
So the big thing about this movie is that we love Gary Oldman, but we weren't really big fans of this movie. So the question is your least favorite book by a beloved author, or your favorite author's weakest book. So I'm going with, well, I have a 2-part answer. I have Casual Vacancy by J.K. Rowling, basically because I never finished it. I need to give it another chance though, so I'm not totally throwing it under the bus, even though I didn't get very far the first time I read it. So my other answer is Interworld by Neil Gaiman, and I just wasn't a big fan of the whole trilogy, and I know that he was only really involved with the first one. It was only his idea for the other ones, but I just wasn't a big fan of Interworld. Next up is Dunkirk. So this is a story told through multiple perspectives or across multiple timelines, and the best answer for this one is Homegoing by Yaa Gyasi, because it's told through both. Every chapter switches not only character but also the time, and I just love that so much. I love stories that interweave through time and character like that. It's so brilliant, and I just love those kind of connected stories like that. It's such a beautiful book anyway, and it fits this question so well. The YA answer is I'll Give You the Sun by Jandy Nelson, which is also 2 perspectives. They're twins. One of them is when they're 13 and the other perspective is when they're 16, and so it kind of goes back and forth in time with the perspective as well. And so I really like books like that again, and both of those books are phenomenal. Get Out.
Chris was just telling me how he felt much more comfortable with my being here. Get out.
Sorry, man.
Get out! Yo!
Rose, we gotta go.
Is everything okay?
Rose, the keys. Just get the keys.
I don't know where they are.
Rose?
A story where the side character or friend outshines the main character. Actually, this happens to me a lot. I tend to really love side characters, sometimes more so than main characters, like Harry Potter. I love Harry Potter, but Hermione is my favorite. And the same thing with Red Rising. I love Red Rising and I love Darrow, but Mustang and Severo are kind of cooler characters than Darrow is, as much as I love Darrow. But my answer for this one is Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. I just think the side characters are just they're such cooler people and cooler characters than the main characters. So I'd like can we have a side plot of just them? That'd be really cool. Lady Bird.
Does Mom hate me? If you're tired, we can sit down.
I'm not tired.
You were dragging your feet.
You are so infuriating.
Please stop yelling.
I'm not yelling. Oh, it's perfect.
Do you love it?
You both have such strong personalities.
A book with a complex mother-daughter relationship. I realized I haven't actually read too many of these, and the one that immediately popped into my brain was Why Moms Are Weird by Pamela Ribon. I read this book in like 2010, I think, or something like that, and I related to it so hardcore. It's a mother and her two daughters, but it's like the perspective of one of the daughters, and it's that relationship. It's why moms are weird. So the main girl goes home for a while. She's living in LA, and she goes back home, and there's like this whole thing going on. I don't even know. I read it and I related to it, and it was like, this is my life in a book. So I haven't read it again because I'm afraid that I will not love it as much as I did that first time. But it was really good. My mom still talks about it because we all read it. My mom, my sister, and I all read it, and we were like, this is our lives. And my mom's like, have you read that book? I'm like, Mom, we all read that book. Phantom Thread.
You look beautiful. Very beautiful. I have things I want to do. Things I simply cannot do without you.
Reynolds has made my dreams come true, and I have given him what he desires most in return. Every piece of me.
So we went a little snarky with this question, just like we did with Darkest Hour, where you're choosing a book or pairing or series that is not a romance, that people think is a romance, but it's not a romance. It's not a romance, guys. It's not a romance. Phantom Thread is not a romance. And neither is the book that you choose for this question, and I am going with 50 Shades of Grey. It is not a romance. It is an abusive relationship. You could also say Snape and Lily, but I'm pretty sure that's what Caitlin's saying. So yeah, not a romance, guys. Stop making it a romance, because it's not. The Post.
You can't do this. The legacy of the company is at stake.
What will happen if we don't publish? We will lose. The country will lose.
A book that challenges prevailing power structures. I went with Loving vs. Virginia by Patricia Ruby Powell for this one, which is a historical fiction true story. It's a landmark case that happened in the 1960s, and it's about an interracial couple in Virginia, and it basically, this case allowed them to live together and be married in their home state of Virginia, about 45 minutes away from where I live. Because before that time, they could not be married as an interracial couple. I would also go with Red Rising just because I love Red Rising, and yeah. The Shape of Water.
I don't want an intricate, beautiful thing destroyed.
We can do nothing. I'm sorry.
Don't do this, Eliza.
What is she saying?
Don't do this.
Oh God, it's not even human.
A book with a key character who is non-human, or a book with disabled rep. I'm gonna answer both of these questions though, but you can choose whichever one you want if you decide to go with the tag. So for a book with a key character who is non-human, I went with two, both with God. So American Gods and Strange the Dreamer both have God characters, so they are not humans. They are, you know, gods. And for a book with disabled rep, I have three that I'm just gonna throw out there because I wanna make sure that they are getting some love. And the first one is the Diviner Saga, because it's not just a trilogy anymore. This one has a girl who's in a wheelchair in the books 2 and 3. She's not in book 1, but she's in books 2 and 3. There's also Six of Crows, the duology, where one of the main characters walks with a cane and a limp. And then there's The Summer of Chasing Mermaids, where much like The Shape of Water, the main character cannot speak. And finally, 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri.
So Mildred Hayes, why did you put up these billboards?
My daughter Angela was murdered 7 months ago. It seems to me the police department is too busy torturing black folks to solve actual crime.
The hell is this?
Dixon, I'm in the middle of my goddamn Easter dinner. Sorry, kids.
I know, Chief, but I think we got kind of a problem.
An unlikable character who you just can't help but root for or sympathize with. Because I really wasn't a big fan of Frances McDormand's character, but I totally understood where she was coming from. And I'm gonna go with Mia from Nevernight by Jay Kristoff. She's not such a nice character. Like, not at all. She wants to be a killer. Like, can I relate to that? Is that a nice thing? No. But I get where she's coming from, and I'm rooting for her while I'm reading about her. But she's not great as a person. If she were in real life, I don't think I'd be friends with her. But I'm gonna root for her just the same. Well, that is it for the Best Picture Tag 2018. Let me know in the comments if you decide to do this video. Please do this video. It's really fun, and we have such a great time making it every year. So if you haven't checked out Caitlin's video yet, go ahead and do that as well. It's also linked below, and let me know what your answers would be to these questions, regardless of whether or not you do the tag. So that's it for me today, and happy Oscars tonight, guys, and I will see you next time.